Well, all she asked was to go look at his picture to see if he was cute. She didn't ask to go talk to him or anything.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Wait a
saying?
minute, I about got scared. And
Yeah. No, she didn't ask to, like, for me.
A little weird, but I
It is a
digress.
little
I
weird.
digress.
It is a little weird, but we have to remember Gypsy at that time. I mean, I'm thinking, well, she's 18. She likes older guys, not thinking nothing of it because I didn't know that she was living how she was living. And people could say all they want that we knew. We didn't have a freaking clue.
Oh, I totally believe that because I believe that they lived in Missouri and Rod was like, see ya. I mean, that's just my opinion.
He would have been behind bars a long time ago if I would have known. If I would have knew, had an inkling. Look, I wish
Knew what?
He would have told us something.
That she was faking not being able to walk.
That something's not right.
She was sick.
Yeah.
Like, I can't talk to the doctor. I can't do it. Something. When my kids went to the doctor and they were old enough to say where I was hurting, they told them.
Well, that's what's crazy to me is that she can go to a 10-year-old about a man at a vision con, but she can't go to her stepmom that there's all this horrible stuff going on. Or Mia, yeah.
I was the enemy to
She ran down the street and knocked on a stranger's door.
But all I have to say is, if she can have her 10-year-old at the time sister look up some guy that she's into, then I think you really need to check out that boy.
Look, yeah, maybe I do. I had said I would like to look at it.
Because Mia was close to 13 at the time.
More like 10.
Yeah, no, she was 10, but it's kind of getting close to 13.
Do you have a fear?
Thinking, Ashley.
Do you have a fear that she's gonna follow? Like, if something goes wrong between her and Ken, or between whatever, do you have a fear she's gonna fall back into the con like her and Dee Dee were doing?
No.
The con, not the schmurder.
The con.
I think she's still, I mean, I'm sorry, but this is my opinion, that she's using social media as the con now.
Yeah, she's doing it now.
And here's the thing, Kristy, you have to understand where we're coming from with this. Her crime happened due to social media, so she should have never been allowed on social media after she got out to begin with.
Yeah, because there's been certain other people that were banned from social media.
Okay, here's the thing, Kristy. Dee Dee lost it. Okay, so Dee Dee, I'm gonna go backwards with you, because you were actually there. Okay, when the conning and everything started, do you think that, I'm talking about with Dee Dee in the beginning, do you think it was because she snapped after Emma Lloyd's passed?
God, I think about that because, look, Dee Dee loved her mom. But what I think, the happier Rod and I were, the sicker Gypsy got. And it's like when she moved after Hurricane Katrina, when I was frantically looking for him, putting, it on the news that I'm looking for him, because our last conversation was, we're going to keep in touch. They were going to a shelter. She let me know that. And then radio silent. Couldn't find out. I'm panicking. And when I finally found the shelter, they had shipped them off already. And I'm like, well, where did they go? And they're like, well, we don't know. And I jumped the shelter's ass because I'm like, people are looking for their loved ones and y'all not having a record. Well, there was a nurse from Missouri that was helping out and told Dee Dee about Missouri. And she went. And Dee Dee had an arrest warrant out on her till Claude went to the police station and let them know she passed away for fraud.
He took that as an opportunity, as a new beginning, But if she was making Gypsy sicker because you and Rod were happier, that doesn't explain what happened in Missouri at
And
all.
it doesn't explain the facts that the hospital visits lessened after the microdeletion was detected.
Did y'all see on the hospital visits and the special notes and a lot of them that said that Rod and Kristy were not allowed?
Yeah.
I was like, dang. You know?
Well, why didn't Rod go to court and demand visitation and demand access to what you thought was your sick child?
Yeah.
We've talked about that, and every time you get into the argument, Rod had to, like, Kristy, please stop. She'd bring him to court. He's like, Kristy, for the love of God, quit arguing with her. She brings me to court every time. And it's for petty shit. Petty stuff she'd bring him to court for. He didn't pay a Band-Aid.
Like what? Child support?
He didn't pay for a Band-Aid. Oh Lord, take him to court. It was petty, a lot of petty stuff.
But that was his child. Maybe Dee Dee felt like Rod wasn't supporting her.
He was paying the child support, plus when they went on vacation, plus $100.
But there's records of him.
The day she got married.
But there's records of him not paying child support.
That was once or twice when he was between jobs and he caught up.
He still owed, I thought, by the time she died.
Oh, no. The last child support payment was deposited the night before it happened.
Why was he paying child support on Gypsy when Gypsy was 23 years old at that point?
Because we thought Dee Dee worked around the clock taking care of Gypsy, and it was no ands, ifs, or buts. We were still going to support. We thought we were supporting that household.
I mean, I can understand Kristy. I can understand Kristy in this because when my parents split, even though that they were split, my dad was still taking care of my medical stuff, my everything and anything that he could.
Understand that's different from ordered child support.
It wasn't child ordered after 18. There was.
After you're 18,
we will continue to pay.
The judge doesn't.
Quite honest, that's the least he could have done was pay child support. I mean,
yes. But hey, you guys, let's go ahead and like and share the live out because this is a really great debate, and let's support our host.
I'm asking a favor.
I have a question.
Everybody tries to twist anything that I've said that y'all said. Let's correct it because Jesus Christ.
I have just one real quick. This is kind of a little random, but it's always piqued my curiosity. You guys cleaned out the house.
Yeah.
So I know Dee Dee was a record historian, whatever you want to call it, had binders and binders of photos. We only get to see so many pictures of Dee Dee. Like, would y'all ever be willing to share more photos?
Yeah. Me and Gypsy talk about good times with Dee Dee.
It would be great. It would be great to humanize her. Kristy, hold on real quick. It would be really great, Kristy, to humanize her because she is a victim. She is the one who lost her life while she was asleep in her bed. So it would be great for people who have care for Dee Dee to see more about her.
Yeah, look, I agree.
Kristy, can you also verify this? Because now that we're on the subject of this, I think it was recently.
Finish up this real quick. I'm sorry, Sassy. I'm not trying to take over anything. I just want to know what she thinks about
Girl,
all that.
we women, we try to take over the world.
But you know what I mean, like about Dee Dee and how they only show this horrible woman. And I'm sorry, I just don't buy that narrative.
Because there were good. I'm not gonna lie. There were we would laugh a lot on Rod's expense sometimes. Just to,
Yeah, and Dee Dee also, like, if you ask anyone in Missouri, until this whole Munchausen thing became a narrative, but before, no one has anything bad to say about her. They all said that she was great. She volunteered all the time. She gave, efforts here and there.
She liked to be known. She always,
that was her thing.
She liked the attention.
Yeah.
Look, y'all, I mean, I never forget when she told me, that she was a groupie for Great White. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, I was in the thank you. It's a twice bitten.
Once bitten, twice
Once
shy.
been, twice shot. Yeah.
Alex, she said that
I'm
in
a
the
Gen
thank you,
Xer, so I know that song.
Yeah.
like that they thanked her in there. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, so they were thanking you for being on your knees a lot, you know.
Right,
that
but
was
to
a
her,
scene,
that
you
was
know,
like a huge.
because she was a groupie, you know.
Yeah.
She liked the hair bands and so, but who didn't?
Especially in
Right.
the 80s.
Yeah, who wouldn't brag about
Especially.
being with a
I'd
band?
love to have been hanging out with John Bon Jovi back in the day. You know?
Oh, Kristy, that is my boyfriend. That is Fighting Words'
I
girlfriend.
mean, I did have a
Well-
question though regarding when you guys had gone to the house, and and again, this has been a question, something that was brought up. It was stated that you guys actually didn't even have keys to the house
We
when
did.
you went to go get the stuff, and Rod had to go through like the window. I don't know if you can.
That is correct. When we went, we did it through the proper channels. We went talked to the detectives, and they were like, "Well, you're gonna have to get through the window." And I was like, oh.
Muffled,
I didn't
Kristy.
want to
It's
go
kind of
clean.
hard to hear you.
Rod did not want to go clean out that house, but I was there. Rod's sister and my mother-in-law were there, and we're like, "Let's get this done because people are already starting to come creep around. They could break in, steal stuff." You know, so when we got there, the lady across the street, she comes outside, she looks, she goes back inside, she comes with some binoculars. Look, it's not that far. You know, so I waved, and then the cops showed up. And
Kristy, you're kind of muffled right now.
Well, I have a question about the money that was in the safe. What happened to it?
all of that, and I asked Gypsy about that. I said, all of that stuff's still in evidence.
What about the necklace?
Like the ring, like everything that the cops confiscated from her for the arrest, that's still wherever it's at.
Now, do you feel because there was that $15,000 left in the safe, do you feel that Gypsy planned on going back to the house?
I don't think so. No, she told me.
Kristy, you're kind of muffled right now. I don't know if your phone is away from you or if it's
It might be because it might have been the charger that was doing it. But she said she would never wanted to go back. She said, I thought she was in a field somewhere and they left her to die because all her wheelchairs were accounted for. And I'm like,
Wait, what?
Wait a minute.
The day we got the call that she went missing. And I'm freaking out because all her wheelchairs, they said, were there. And I'm like, oh my God, they brought her in the woods somewhere and they left her to die or they're torturing her. I'm thinking the worst. And then I'm like, oh my God, when they find her, how am I going to take care of her? Because Dee Dee took such good care of her. That was my mindset. I was terrified.
Do you think she would have reached, let's say she didn't put that message out. She's with Nick. Do you feel that she would have called you and Rod to let you know that she was okay?
She told me at one point she was hoping she would just disappear and people would forget about her. But that was like in the couple of months, I want to say, after she was finally in Chillicothe. She might have still been in Greene County because she was in Greene County for a while. And
Have you
because
listened?
she thought that the money that they took was going to last them for months. And I'm like, to get a deposit put on a house, she thought water was free. I mean, she was green. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like she's still a little green when it comes to that because she claims she's broke, but then she's out shopping. I mean, it's really confusing.
No offense, she's spending like thousands of dollars every second to do her hair.
Right.
It's not thousands, but if you add it all up since she got out, yeah.
But do you get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like she claims one thing and then she does another.
It's just an example of her lying.
Look, recently all I've seen her is buy stuff for the baby. And besides those hair products, I didn't even know about the video of her doing her hair till after.
Kristy, do you truly believe that Gypsy is unscathed by this microdeletion?
I think that She is, but she's not. She isn't. Like,
Right, because there are definitely things that.
Do you think she admits to having the microdeletion at all, or do you think she denies it?
Yeah, she believes it because she put it on her TikTok. She did like a whole thing on her.
she knows she has it. I mean, and she, she looks at it like it could be worse. It could have been, more side effects. The doctor, I told her when she got retested was like, you have it, but you're so borderline.
But even
But she does have muscle weakness.
Starlight, no, can I say that?
But yeah,
What in regards to her microdeletion, though, when it comes down to it, does she realize that all the medical procedures she did have was due to the fact that she needed it because of the microdeletion, or is she in denial about it and that's why she thinks it's medical abuse?
I'm going to tell y'all what I honestly think. I think, and this is not Gypsy thinking, this is my train of thought because of the way I knew Dee Dee. I think when she found out Gypsy had the microdeletion, that yes, these are side effects, but who's to say Gypsy would have had those side effects? And I think Dee Dee made some of those things happen, like with her teeth put in the Oragel in her mouth so she could drool and stuff.
But we have babies.
But we
and
don't
Oragel
know
doesn't
that.
make you drool so excessively.
Oragel
that
does
you
not.
pass
Yeah,
the test.
Oragel does
You
not.
get your saliva
Oragel
removed.
is known for taking away the numbing pain or the pain in the teeth. It's to help the teeth so that you don't feel the pain.
and Gypsy failed her swallow studies, and she had in Botox injections. She was drooling. She had problems with
asked her about the
excessive,
hearing test because everybody's like, how could
not
she
the hearing, the
fail this?
swallowing.
But with the hearing test, I asked her, I said, were you in the room alone, for the hearing test? She's like, no, my mom was on the side of me and she would squeeze my side or something.
There's no way. I'm sorry.
I'm telling y'all don't realize how good Dee Dee was.
But we do realize how good Gypsy is.
But I'm just going on my experience.
Mother
If I
in
was
there
with
to
y'all,
squeeze on their child during a hearing test.
I might be thinking the same exact thing if I would be either one of them.
Because my son actually had to get hearing tests done to get like tubes and stuff in his ears. And they didn't let me in there.
And again,
there's no way.
all of these procedures were due to the microdeletion for failure to thrive.
Dee Dee had that southern charm. I'm telling
At
you.
the end of the
There is
day,
no, I don't care how much Southern
Y'all
charm you
can-
have. You
y'all can
cannot
tell me
go
all
around
day
and
long.
pull. Dr. Beckerman,
Dr. Beckerman, he was supposedly apparently the dad.
he treat. No. Dr. Beckerman, hold on. Dr. Beckerman treated Gypsy in Missouri and Louisiana. He had treated her as a child. He's the one. He's a pulmonary, whatever you call it, specialist.
And Dr. Beckerman was the one who also changed his last name after all this as well.
Dr. Beckerman, I know, has
Kristy,
Alzheimer's.
do you think at the end of the day, like when you go to sleep at night, do you think that Dee Dee deserved what happened to her?
No, I think Dee Dee should be in jail for what she did. I don't.
Yeah, but technically, since Gypsy was in on it with her, kind of in a way, then she should have been too.
I'm surprised that she hasn't faced Make-A-Wish or any of them have come back.
She did donate to Make-A-Wish.
Sabrina, can you bring up Danny?
Had asked. She had wanted to go volunteer. We had talked about that, and I said, "Why don't you, volunteer?" Well, they didn't want her to volunteer, which I could understand. Angel Flight quit flying out kids because Dee Dee, took advantage of that.
What about her prison reform that she came out and said she wanted to do? I mean, I saw many of interviews.
We still talk about. We're in the process. We're talking about it. I wish it would be that easy as a quick jump to get this stuff done, but
Why doesn't she hold a podcast instead of showing everybody her new outfit? Why doesn't she hold a podcast and talk about her timing in prison and talk about what she would change instead of showing us her latest
Or
necklace?
why not show remorse for any of the things that she has done and take accountability for the fact that she used Nick and she used a disabled man who was autistic?
I don't look. Y'all might crucify me for this, but I do not think that she used Nick as much as y'all think she used.
No, I really don't think you know how much until you look, because you have not read the FOIA. You need to read that FOIA, Kristy.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not saying Nick is all innocent in this, but there was a lot of manipulation.
There was a ton of manipulation, and you need to look into David. There's so much you need to look into, Kristy, because you don't know the half of it.
And as somebody that has 2 children on the spectrum, and one of them has the same mental health issues as Nick, they are easy to manipulate at times, and I can see where Gypsy was good at that. Nick.
Who knows? You know, I mean,
I think she's still manipulating y'all. I do. I think y'all believe her because y'all believe the story.
I could tell you.
I mean, Kristy, she's still slandering him even on social media at this point. There's numerous proofs of her talking poorly about Nick.
She's not even supposed to really talk about it, and she can't talk.
I understand that, but she sure as hell does.
And then why was, I mean, we've all on this app, and I'm sure you've seen it, the infamous video of her friend Bree telling her to lie to her parole officer. What did you feel about that?
I was like, oh Lord.
And again,
why didn't you ask Gypsy to stop talking to Bree? Obviously,
I had a talk. I did have a talk, but y'all, I could talk to her and give her advice, and I could give anybody advice all day long. And what they choose to do with it is what they choose to do with it. I can't be faulted for her not following through. She is 33 years old. She's gonna live and learn.
Right, but as her stepmother and as somebody
who has to learn the hard way, but then she's gonna learn the hard way.
But wasn't she put in y'all custody? I mean, aren't y'all somewhat like accountable for what and responsible for her?
And that's what I was gonna say. Respectfully, Kristy, you are supposed to be somebody who is guiding her and giving her advice, and yet she can't even take
with what I know.
But then you need to tell her and tell her to take accountability for the actions that she has caused, because surely nobody is doing that.
Is she in therapy?
Oh yeah, she is in therapy.
Well, why hasn't she come out and honestly say she's in therapy instead of telling Kim Kardashian she had no therapy available to her?
I mean, she's damned if she does, she's damned if she don't. She tells people she's in therapy. You're lying. You're not in therapy. My ass, I'll bring you to therapy when she has them online. I could hear her talking to her therapist.
Why hasn't that been shown without violating her HIPAA? Why hasn't that been shown on Lifetime? All we see is, the crap that is ridiculous.
I don't know. We're not in control of what.
Honestly, Kristy, if that's shown, I think that's going to put a lot of things to rest.
I had this today. I said, I wish we would have a rap show, an after show thing, and discuss that.
I just think
fully discussed or things that should have been on it that wasn't. I agree with that. I totally agree that they want the drama and they put the drama when this. Now we all know this story is full of drama and people add more drama to it, which they don't need to because Lord, it's a shit show. But I think a lot of the topics that we discussed filming was not aired.
Do you think it's time that she takes a break from TV and media and maybe
a break? Okay, I mean, I told her the other day. I said I think y'all should just do a month no social media. No. And she's like, I have to. It's in my freaking contract. She's like, I would like to.
But
And I
she
know she would
doesn't need this contract. Like, she's not a celebrity, Kristy. She's infamous, and that is a huge difference.
There's
And
a
I don't
big difference.
understand
People
that.
are like, you're a celebrity. No, I'm not. I'm just.
And Kristy, no offense, the one biggest thing that I have with this is that she does not identify herself as a murderer when she was the one who put the weapon in Nick's hand.
Look,
and I say that respectfully.
It's not that she doesn't want to. She knows. She knows what she did, but she don't want to have to get it thrown in her face every day.
Well, then why is she on TV?
She knows what she did, but she can't take accountability for it, Kristy. That makes no sense. She's never taken up.
I mean, she's taken a lot of accountability for things she did. You know,
she has not taken accountability when it comes to Nick. You cannot say that she has not taken
confided in me about a lot of things, and that's between her and I. And when she's going to be ready to share it, she will. I'm not going to force her to.
The best thing for Aurora and the best thing for Gypsy right now would be for Gypsy to step away from everything, unsign whatever contract she signed, her job, live a quiet life, get to know herself. She doesn't even know herself.
Who knows everybody? Like, we all live and learn every day, like I said.
I feel that
she's evolving.
Instead of being a spectacle about it while you're learning, why not just step away while you're growing?
At the end of the day, if she screws up, she has to take accountability. She has to eat crow. Whatever.
Right, but again, Kristy, you just said the word. She has to take accountability, and she has never. But hold on, wait.
But I'm not talking about like the Nick thing. I'm talking about
Kristy, this whole thing is because of Nick. She used and abused an autistic man. She needs to take accountability for it, and I promise you,
to the world, she doesn't need to take accountability.
Kristy, if she takes accountability for it and shows the world that she is sorry, everybody would look at this differently.
Right,
and I'm telling you that
a little bit of grace, and I'm not saying that y'all don't, because I don't know. I don't watch y'all channels. I don't really, I don't really know y'all personally on a personal level, so.
I mean, I know you know me from what Dinah has told you, but again, like I said,
but she's never said anything bad about you to me. Trust that.
No, I will. But
it's not that. But when she's ready, she'll do it.
So
But what if
she gets condemned every freaking day, every day, and
but you have to.
Hey, you guys, Camille's trying to ask a question,
but it's like. She feels, and sometimes I feel it's like, why even bother? Because they don't care. You could say you took accountability. They don't care. They're going to say you didn't. Now, I'm not saying all of you. I'm not saying that towards anybody in general to y'all. I'm not saying you or you. I'm just saying.
Camille, what's your question?
Out there in this
I think what Kristy is trying, I was watching another creator who was a felon, and she was saying, and she doesn't know anything about Gypsy. Like, she was a felon, but she was in a prison in I think Alabama or another state. And she said that when you come out of prison, it takes you at least 6 months to a year to get, rehabilitated in, society. So, it also takes a long time for people to, go through therapy and talk about how they feel. Adjust.
I think the term you're trying to find is reacclimated.
Yeah, reacclimated, rehabilitated, reacclimated to society. So, what I think my question is I think Gypsy inside is taking a little bit time to like get herself reacclimated to society. But Kristy, do you think that she is handling it well, or do you think that because of her being under a microscope, it's taking her a lot longer to readjust to things? Because I can only imagine.
I agree what you said. It does. I think that's. I mean, I'm not speaking on for Gypsy. I'm speaking my opinion, but I think it's kind of what you said. You know, it's taking her a while because when she got out, people beat her down.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? You know, it's like. So if I tell them I'm doing good, they bitch about it. If I'm doing bad, they bitch about it. Until she is ready, and I always tell her she needs to forgive herself.
Yeah.
Do one of you guys mind dropping?
I don't know if she's ever going to forgive herself because
another creator on here would like to come up, and I'd actually like to hear.
I have to go in like 2 minutes because my mom has been.
I'll drop.
Okay. Can somebody bring Ethan up for me?
Yeah, I will.
So Kristy,
I got something to.
So Kristy,
You can talk.
because she's taking a long time to reacclimate, you think? I feel like.
Hello, thank y'all for having me up.
You're welcome. I've watched you a lot. So.
Hold on
Hold on 1 second. Camille was in the middle of speaking, guys. Go ahead, Camille.
Yeah, so I think because she's taking so long to reacclimate to society, and also growing up out of like a bubble, because when I was growing up, I grew up in a mistreated environment, and when I came out of it, it took me about maybe 4 years to reacclimate to a new society, to unlearn things. But I think my thing is that when it comes to taking accountability for actions, I think maybe Gypsy might have a very hard time with it, and she might not know, and she might take all of what we're saying as like a threat compared to what everybody on her, like her friends, are saying. Because sometimes, I mean, coming from a place of hardship myself, I think if she like takes more time to learn, maybe she'll get around to it. But I like to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think maybe if people kind of give her a little grace, and let her do it on her time. It's not when you want it done. It's not when I want it done. It's when she's going to be ready. And I can't, fault her for that. Whenever she's going to be ready, she's going to be ready.
I understand that, Kristy.
It's a long process.
I understand that, Kristy, but
there's
again,
a lot of layers though that she is, has to go through.
I also think that she shouldn't take what we say as hate. I mean, yes, okay. So here's the thing. I know a lot of people can be
stuff I hate, but there's some she does,
There's a lot of people on this app that are actually mean, and they can say really brutal and mean things, but not all of us are actually, I'm sorry for the noise in the background, I'm outside. There's not a lot of us that are actually mean. I don't think of myself as a mean person. I think of myself as a really understanding person, and a lot of us on this panel, and a lot of the creators are very, very humble and very kind. So I think a lot of us are coming from good place, but I think
so too. But things get lost in translation.
And also, Kristy, again, and I say this with the utmost respect, because, like I said, we've had a really good discussion here in general. But again,
I truly enjoyed it.
Again, if she took some accountability for her actions with Nick, I think people would view her a lot more differently. And that is the major thing that needs to be done, because she has not shown us any remorse for anything that she has done.
Well, maybe
instead of saying, I don't
when she gets off of parole and, she hears what y'all are saying, and she knows it's not coming from malicious intent. it's kind of
But she said things before, like
she
as
could
soon as
do
she
it.
gets off
Well, she
parole.
can't legally. She right now she can't really talk about Nick. Even y'all said she is. I never seen it, but I don't. Like I said, I don't go looking for it. I barely go on my friend's Facebook.
Start taking accountability without talking about him.
But this is her journey. It's not my journey. It's not your journey. This is her journey. And when she's going to come to that road, that crossroad, she's going to do what she wants to do. And I can really say what?
Here's my thing.
Okay, wait,
The public's not stupid.
Ethan, hold on one second, please. Mimi.
Yeah, Mimi was trying to say something, and then it's hard to hear.
I hope Gypsy understands. So many of us were rooting for her.
I know.
Truly was rooting for her. And just her actions since coming out. And
girl, you missed the whole topic of the conversation a while ago. But I get where you're coming from.
I mean, honestly, you guys can look back and before she got out of prison, I was making videos saying I was happy for her and I couldn't wait to see what she did with herself.
Honestly, I wanted her to prove me wrong, but
I hope one day that y'all all could see her in that light that y'all saw her.
But I do want to hear what Ethan has to say.
I'm gonna tell you, Gypsy, I love her to pieces. I want nothing but the best for her. I will not allow her to go on her own path. If I have anything, I will stop it. If I see she's going left, if I see she's going left when she should be going right, I'm gonna be like, no, girl, you got to go right. I'm not going to reward her for bad behavior if I see it. If I see it with my own eyes, or if I read it and and it's from her, then I'm gonna say something. Don't think I don't, because I do. I'll put her in check a lot.
Let's let Ethan talk real quick before you have to go.
Yeah, Ethan. I knew I recognized you from at the book signing. I was like, I've seen his face before.
I'm here.
Yeah. And after you, I was like, oh.
By the way, Ethan, I follow you on my main page right now.
Thanks.
My main page was banana today because of what's been happening, and the whole reason this was happening was because I thought I got a message from Kristy and it was threatening me, and
we squashed that shit.
We squashed that shit really quickly, and it turned out that it wasn't her, but I was basically wanted, unalived.
This is my account, and I would never make an account to go and bully people.
The whole reason why she was brought up here was to kind of squash that, but I have followed you for a very long time on my main account. This is my backup account, so.
Here's my whole thing, and I said this at the book signing, and this was in Lifetime. Some people take things too far, and so in the realm of haters, some people take things too far. But my point is, you can't ask for attention and then be upset when you get negative attention. And so Gypsy puts herself out there a lot, and it's, you can't. I mean, look at Casey Anthony. She hid in the dark for all these years, and everybody essentially left her alone. But then she popped her head out, and people came after her really hard because she ran over there and stole a married man. So when you are on the front page, you can't. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't have the cake and eat it.
You gotta take the good and the bad. And you gotta eat the humble pie when you have to, and you gotta eat crow when you have to. You gotta do it all. You gotta take it all at face value. Because look, like I said, I've been in this freaking rodeo for a long time, and I've let things roll off my back. Because I have to. If I don't, I will be mad at the world. And I don't want to be that person. I want to help people, like I said, if somebody would go through this that has hated on Gypsy, I would be the one in their corner having their back, because that's how my mom raised me. You know, I want to see everybody with a good heart, with a good intention, just the way I want people to see me. I will not judge you. If somebody says, oh, they're a bitch, well, let me find out if they're a bitch for myself.
Nellie is just coming back in and coming back out. Her screen froze.
If you're not a bitch, I'm going to say, like, you're not a bitch. Right. People told me you
Butterfly is
weren't a
trying to
bitch.
come up.
But
Butterfly's trying to come up, so can I drop
am.
you drop
Yeah.
me so she can come up?
Yeah, of
Sorry,
course.
I want to
Christy.
thank y'all. Camille, thank you. And what you said made so much sense.
If you can save the spot next to me, though, for Nellie, please.
Nelly Belly. But, like, before I go, because my mom's here, she brought me my supper because I didn't go eat.
Butterfly
I would
wants
like
to come
to
up
thank
too.
y'all for giving me a chance to ramble on.
No, and I do appreciate. I want to say thank you again for like talking to all of us and having a conversation and also squashing the threat basically that was made towards me.
That's when, look, I had said I've been quiet for a long time, but if somebody's pretending to be me, sending death threats out, it's time for me to speak up.
Yeah, because
That-
and like we said earlier, nobody should be told to unalive themselves.
Nobody should.
And that's where it's took too far. And that's, that's not appropriate. How can you be a Gypsy hater or a Gypsy lover and, say stuff like that? So that's where it's taken too far.
You know what I laugh at? I get messages and they are cursing me out lower than a dog, and they like, I'm a Christian woman, and you say you. I'm like, well, look what you just said. It's like,
and it's ridiculous that, and I have my opinions, but it doesn't matter if you have the same opinion as me. If you're acting like that,
right?
It doesn't make no sense.
I mean, even with Gypsy, do I agree with everything she does? No. Do I believe she probably should be in jail? Yes, but again, that's my opinion. But again, I would never send her a message. Just go unalive yourself. You know?
Look, I've gotten those quite often. I hope she does to you what happened to her mom. And I'm like, they act like I'm scared. I'm like, what? No, I'm not scared that she's living under my roof. Never was. But I'm not that. I'm not Dee Dee.
But I do.
And I know y'all differences.
But do you ever feel a little afraid?
Never. I could honestly tell you that. Never.
But Kristy, can you understand like where we have been coming from for months with all this bullying and harassment? And I hope in some ways
you have a right to defend yourself.
But I hope tonight kind of open your eyes to what we've been dealing with for months, and maybe in a sense you can talk to them and you can put this to rest somehow, because the insanity of the bullying and the harassment and even the stalking is not okay.
None of it's okay. Not in my book. And I just say, like I said earlier, instead of tearing people down, lift them up. Just lift them up. And look, if there's somebody that's trying to talk crap to you and you don't want to hear it, just look, I don't got time for it. I don't want to know it. Because what you don't know doesn't hurt you. And best reaction, no reaction. Because that's what they want. They want that reaction so they can go and have the content and talk about it. That's the main goal.
Right.
Which is sad. Ethan goes on, I've watched him a couple of times, talks about his opinion, and he does it with grace. He does it with, respect. And it's not all in what you say, it's how you say it. Because I can say one thing and somebody take it totally different, just like text. There's no emotion in a text.
Right.
And that's why it's so important. If y'all have a question, and I'll say it, since Ethan's in here too, don't hesitate. Reach out. Ask me. Instead
I will, and I'll add you on.
assuming, and believing the caca that's out there. Because for one, I'm not doing drugs like Katie Joy said. If I drink a half a glass of wine a year, that's a lot. It's like the medicine I take is prescribed by my doctor.
Hi, Michelle.
So it's like everybody, Kristy slurring. When I was talking to Katie, I'm like, Vicky, weren't we on the same call? And I'm talking to you now like I talked to her. She's the one that was drinking, not me. But people have to talk bad about other people to make them feel good about themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I just hope at this point, like with you guys being aware of what we've been going through on this side, at least maybe somehow this can put a stop to it, because again, it's not okay what's been going on with Sweet Honey. It's not okay that Bree has been bullying her nonstop. I mean, I understand that you cannot control other people's actions, but they are your guys' friends, and maybe having a conversation with them is the way to do it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I could talk to them. I can't make y'all any promises.
No, and I know again, I know you can't.
Don't fault me. I don't want people to fault me for other people's actions. I'm guilty by association.
No, and I understand that. And again, like I said, like you can't make and make somebody do something that they don't want to do.
Right.
At the end of the day,
in charge of our own lives.
But I can also go ahead and follow you on my main account, so that if I do ever have questions, I can come to you.
Yeah. In fact, I gotta get off of here. Ethan,